that there is a deeper reason why God created gay people, transgender people? Do you think there's a deeper reason and that we'll find out later on?
I believe that personally for me, I have to say I am a believer in God wholeheartedly. I'm more spiritual than religious. And I say that because I can't possibly, when I go outside and I look at trees and I look at the dynamics of bugs, even though I don't like bugs, snakes and lizards and, life in general, animals, there's so many aspects of life. I cannot just say scientifically we exist. I believe that God made each and everything for a reason, no matter how you look at the situation. And whatever God's divine decision in making gay people, I will never know until I guess the day I die and I find out, But for me, I think that's what makes us so unique and so different than our heterosexual brothers and sisters, because our lenses are different. We look at life differently than they do. They look at it from one lens, and that's where the problem is because they only looking at it from one lens. And I think that's why the gay flag was chosen, is because it's a spectrum of many colors, and those colors make up this color and that color make up this color. And I think that's where the inclusion comes with being gay. One thing I can say aesthetically, for the most part, even though we have issues that exist within the gay community, but for the most part, we all have the same lens. And we're able to look at it with an open heart and an open mind to try to at least understand. The problem comes is with the conditioning of how people have been taught and raised. And like I said, hate is a taught behavior. And even though someone's gay, if they grew up in a racist house, even though they like men, they still going to have that racist mentality because they're going to think, well, I'm still a white man, so I'm privied.
Right.
You understand? Regardless of me being gay or not. There is still this white privilege that exists. Yes. And a lot of people don't get that. You know what I'm saying? So, for me, with religion, like I said, it took me a long time to even focus in on the Bible. My father was a preacher, and what I loved about my father, he had an understanding of the Bible. And I believe that the Bible was wrote by man. So, for me, with that being said, what do men do? They alter history, they alter words, they alter all different things. And I'm just personally, if this book really is the truth, and I feel like it's an instructional manual, and you're to depict it how you feel and use that as a guide to what is good life and what is a good person and how you to live your life. Mm-hmm. So if you wholeheartedly believe everything and you take the Bible to a standard and you go like, well, it's in the Bible, this is in the Bible, this is in the Bible, then everybody is going to be fucked. Excuse my language, but that's the truth.
Right, okay.
Because it talks about pork in the Bible. Americans, people across the world, everybody eat bacon, sausage, men cheat on their wives, that's adultery. And, women cheat on them. Hello, shellfish, all of these different things that are in the Bible. And I just believe that it was an instruction. And then you also have to remember, if the Bible is true and it was wrote when it was wrote, that depicts that time. When people ate pork, there was no way if you could eat pork this day, the day that you cooked it, you couldn't eat pork the next day because there was no such thing as refrigeration or things like that. Pork made you sick. It created worms in the belly and got you sick. There's a reason why you couldn't eat it then. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? And it's the same thing with beef or anything else that we consume. If you don't eat it that day, it's not good the next day. Because one thing about refrigeration is that we can put fried chicken or baked pork chops in the refrigerator and we can eat it a week from now. You couldn't do that during those times. So that might have been why that was written. Mm-hmm. And people don't look at it in that aspect. They look like they tell you this, this, and this, and then, oh, he cheated on his wife. But him cheating on his wife and me sleeping with a man, there's a big difference. Mm-hmm. And what's the difference? Because if a sin is a sin, it's a sin. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't matter how you think about it. They talk about Sodom and Gomorrah. There was a reason why Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed. You understand? It didn't have nothing to do with men sleeping with men and women sleeping with women. These were evil people. That's why it was destroyed. There was people sleeping with animals, men sleeping with men, women sleeping with women sleeping with men and women. You know, it was a plethora of things that went on. Yep. There were thieves and liars and, you know, murderers. That's why it was existing. They don't want to see the other parts of someone. They just want to see what the demonic part they think is demonic about that story. And you have to really investigate who you are as a person to the core to understand what you want to be conveyed. I'm just a believer in how you treat me is how I treat you. And I am what I always call Switzerland. We always know Switzerland is like neutral territory. That's what I call myself. I'm neutral. I'm neutral until you do something to me. I have no say so. If that's just like when I've been with friends and saw my friend cheat on her boyfriend or saw him cheat on his boyfriend or girlfriend. None of my business. People like, well, if you're my friend, you would tell me. No, I'm not going to tell you, because usually what happens when you get involved in those type of situations, y'all get back together and now y'all both mad at me.
Right.
When I could just avoid the whole situation and stay the hell out of something that didn't have anything to do with me, because eventually the Lord was going to allow y'all to work it out. If that's what's supposed to happen.
Because I remember back in the day, my drag mother, Precious, used to always say, "I don't get involved in I don't get involved in lover spats, because then it's gonna cause more drama in all of y'all's life, to be honest, and then it's gonna cause unnecessary drama in your life. So to avoid that, just don't get involved."
Yeah, and I don't get involved, and it's just like when people say God don't make mistakes, and I tell them like this, it's like, because you know, people say, well, if you believe God don't make mistakes, you changed your whole body, you changed your mindset. No, I never changed my mindset.
It's always been there.
It's always been there. And for me, and I say this wholeheartedly, and whoever listens to this, and I hope they believe this, for me, if it wasn't meant for me to transition into who I am, or who I feel comfortable being, the Lord would have never allowed for technology to exist for it to happen. And I believe that with all of my heart. If I sit here and say, oh, I believe I was a woman, but there was no way to be a woman. I think sometimes what happens with all reality, when it comes to human nature, it comes down to the science of the body. I just feel like most gay people who are born, is a chemical imbalance within the vagina. And I feel like somebody has more chromosomes, or more of these chromosomes, or more of this, or more of that, even though that is what was made. You had enough chromosomes to be a man, but you didn't have enough chromosomes for that woman to take place in the belly. And that's what I believe. Do I think it's our parents' fault? No, I don't. I think it just depends on what you've been eating, what you've been doing, what do you consume, those kind of things. You know, so I don't believe that being gay is a mistake. I don't believe any of